Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm just going to give you a brief overview of Canva. So here it is, Canva, canva.com. Now there is a free and a paid for version. I've been using Canva for several years now and only ever use the free version. This will be what you see once you've registered for your free account and you log in. And if you look at the pricing plan here, it explains to you exactly what you get in the free version and then what additions you get if you choose the pro version. The pro version is £99.99 a year, or you can pay monthly, which is £11.99 a month. I believe you can cancel at any time without any obligation whatsoever. But this particular video is just going to be all about the free version, which is the version I use. Okay, so first of all, let me just go back to the home page. So what is Canva? So Canva is an online platform that you can use to create social media graphics, presentations, posters, documents, and all sorts of other things basically. It's also very useful for anybody that has a ScanNCut machine, and that's any model ScanNCut machine. In the last few weeks, I've done a couple of Sunday night YouTube lives showing Canva. The first one was just an introduction to it for anybody that didn't know about it, and the second one was how to make a shaped card. And if you go to my YouTube channel, and once you're on the home page here where you'll see the welcome video, you can either look in the playlists and then go to the live playlists, which is here, live streams, and it will bring up probably the latest video, and then over on the right hand side it will show you all the live streams that I've done every Sunday for the last year or so. There's also a Canva playlist now which has the 2 recent live streams. But again, if you're ever unsure when you're on my homepage of my website, there's a search box here that has a magnifying glass, and you'll hear me referring to this quite often in my Sunday night YouTube lives. You've got to be on the homepage, you've got to be able to see this welcome video, and then in here you can type whatever you want. So if you want to know about Canva, if you want to know about vinyl, whatever. So if you typed in Canva on your keyboard and hit enter, it would bring anything up that has Canva in its title. Okay, so from the home page of Canva, it will bring up, once you start using the program, it will bring up anything like your designs that you've been using recently, and then it'll just bring up other things. You know, it'll show you like Instagram posts, Facebook posts, logos, Instagram stories, posters. It just goes on and on and on, and you can use any of these templates and alter them to suit whatever you want. So if you want to make your Facebook covers, or you want to make some thumbnails, or you want to even make cards, you know, there's all sorts of things in here. I've been showing in the last couple of weeks of how to use it using a custom size page. So again, you would come up to here where it says custom size. In the UK, we use UK A4, which is 8 1/4 by 11 3/4. So it's remembered the size I've used recently. So that's going to bring on a portrait page of A4 for me. And then once you get here, you have all these options down here on the right hand side. It will bring up templates for you that you can drag and drop. You can upload your own photographs. So here's some of mine, you know, that I make my thumbnails and things with for my blog posts and for my YouTube thumbnails. There's a photograph section. There's tons and tons and tons of stock photographs in here. You can just scroll through them, or you can choose by theme. So let's just say you were looking for something Easter related. I know Easter's just passed now, but again, it will bring up anything with Easter here for you in a photograph form. Now, a lot of the designs that you will find in any of these sections down on the left hand side are free. Certain ones you'll see a little crown against, like the cross here, and when you hover over it, it brings up the words pro, which basically means you can either, and then there's this comment box underneath. So if I hover over this, it says get this image and millions more, Canva Pro, or pay 99p just for this image. So if you just wanted to create a one-off, poster or card or flyer or presentation or something, and you just want one, random image, you could choose this image. It will let you bring it onto your page. It will let you add to it and, do everything else you want to do to it. And then to remove the watermarks, you would have to pay the 99p to use it. Then you would be able to download it or save it into your Canva projects, because in the free Canva version, you also have, I think it's 5 gigabytes of iCloud storage. So I'll just delete that. If you wanted to upgrade to the Pro version, which is what I showed you at the beginning, then any of these images or elements or whatever it is in here that have Pro against it, you would be able to use without paying the additional 99p. So it gives you options. You can either subscribe and pay for it, annually or monthly and use all these extra Pro versions. Or if you just want a one-off image, they generally seem to be 99p. So here's another one. This bunch of Easter eggs here has got the little crown against it. And again, when you hover over it, it says that you can use it for free with the Pro version, or you can pay 99p just to use this image. But there's loads of images that are completely free, absolutely free to use. There's tons. I think it says something like 250,000 if you go back to the homepage and look under the pricing section. The paid ones will let you use them to see how they'll look. But then if you want to download them and be able to print them or share them, you would need to pay, either for the images or fonts that you've used, or upgrade. But I like the fact that it will let you use it, and then you can kind of get a feel for how, if at the end of the day, if you drag a design on and you start adding words and you think, actually, no, I don't like that, then you just don't pay for that particular image. So you've got templates, elements, photos. Elements is all sorts of things. So if you've watched any of the YouTube lives I've done on Canva recently, under recently used, it will remember anything that I've been using. So there'll be designs in here that you'll have seen me dragging and dropping onto the page as I've been going through. And then this text, there is hundreds and hundreds of fonts. I like how it breaks it down into sections for you as well. So if you know that you want to type something and you only want it to be small, then you can use this section here, a little bit of body text, and that will come on small. If you think that you might want something that's a bit bigger, it will bring it on as a heading. And if you want something even bigger still, it brings it on at like 56 point, which is like a heading size. You can still resize these bigger or smaller to suit, whatever you want. Just select one and hit the delete on your keyboard, or select it and hit the rubbish bin. And then again, there's all pre-made fonts and wordings and things for you in here. And these are brilliant for things like making word art and things like that you might want to print. Sayings, all you need is love, but a little chocolate now and then doesn't hurt. If you wanted to make that a poster for your wall in your office, you could drag that on. You could come to backgrounds. You could drag yourself a background on, and you've got yourself an instant poster. If you think that the words, you like the words, but they don't necessarily show up on the background that you've chosen, you can double click to highlight them. Some of them you can change and make them bolder. Some of them you have to go into the effects. If you want to curve the text, it will let you curve the text. If you want to add a shadow, it will add a shadow. And again, you can create a bigger shadow, if you want to. You just have to play around with what's in here. If you decide you don't like that background, select it and hit delete. If you think, actually, I'll have a look at this one, see how this one looks, it's all drag and drop. If you decide you don't like that one and you want to bring another one in, there's all sorts of things. If you want like a simple wood plank background, you can change the colours of your font by coming up to the colour swatch with your words selected, and it will bring up like stock colours. So the colours that are in the background photograph, it's bringing up for me. So if I decide I want to change the words to the green that's in the leaves, or there's some darker elements in the leaves, I want to change the words and make them darker, or I want to make them white. you know, with them selected, there's so much you can do. It may even allow you to change the font. Yeah, so if you highlight the words and then say, I'll change the font, and then in this particular font, I can make this one bold, and I can look at it and think, actually, that, you know, that might look better, or it doesn't look better, it looks worse, or actually, I've decided I don't want that saying now, and I don't want that background, so I'll just select them all and get rid of them. There's so much, there's so many things you can do. You just have to scroll through. Because there's so many images, it doesn't load all the images at once. So basically, if you start scrolling too quick, you'll see plain grey boxes like this, but within a few minutes then they will appear. You know, there's even like a menu here. If you run a little coffee shop or a tea shop, or you want to make a card for somebody that likes coffee, you know, there's all sorts of things you can do. You don't have to have your page in this orientation. Mine's just come on this way because that's the size I selected. I'm just getting rid of all these elements. If you decide you want your page the opposite way, just go to File, Create New, and Custom Size, and then change it to the other orientation. Or if you want to make something that's 5 by 5 inches, put the size in, whatever you want. I'm just going to go back to the home page and go to Custom Size. And one thing I did forget to say, you need to, when you get to Custom Size, you need to choose what you want to use before you start typing in the boxes. It automatically defaults to pixels because obviously it's a graphics-based program, but you can change it to inches, you can change it to millimeters, you can change it to centimeters. I work in inches, so I tend to always use inches. Once you've chosen the size that you want here, so if I want to make something, say I wanted to make a thumbnail for my blog, then I would probably more than likely use pixels. So let's say I wanted a 300 by 300 pixel template to make for a blog post. I would then create the size I want in pixels, and then I would say, I'd come to my uploads, and then let's just drag in something I've done recently and drop, and then I can stretch this out and click away, and that would be my thumbnail. It doesn't matter that the rest of the stuff hangs off this page. It won't. It will only save what's in this box for you. So if I change that to this one and then drag it out and want to fill the box with, you know, these images of these sewing notebooks I've been making and selling recently, I can. Sometimes you can come into crop and you can kind of move them around to get, you know, a better position within your box. And when you're done, you click done, and that brings them in, and then you would download it and use it wherever you want to use it. Whatever size you set, if I go back to the home page, whatever size you set your template at in here, when you start bringing elements onto the page, it will bring the elements on in that format, if you like. So let's just go back to, so if I choose 11.69 by 8.26 inches, that's basically A4 in landscape. And then if I come to elements and I just come down to basic shapes and I grab a square, when I start dragging this square in and out, the black box appears with the white text inside it, and that's in inches. So it's telling me that this is 4.6 by 4.6. So if I wanted a 2-inch square, I would drag it down until that black box tells me it's 2 by 2. And that's because I set this page in inches. If I'd have set this page in millimeters, this box, when I brought it on and go to alter the size, would show up here in the black box with the measurements on in millimeters. So I hope that makes sense. There's so much you can import videos, you can import audio. There's so much you can do. In the free version, you can save things in folders, but I think you can only make 2 folders. In the paid for version, I think you can have unlimited folders. So, you know, even if you wanted to upload all your photographs into Canva and just store them here in folders as a backup, say, to keeping them not on your computer, in the free version, you could create 2 folders. So you could have one folder called photographs and just upload everything into your photographs. And then you'd have one spare folder. But in the paid for version, you could break your folders down even further. There's so much more you can do to it. I really, don't even think I could scratch the surface. As I say, I have been trying to go over, a couple of different things in the recent YouTube lives. So it may be worth you, while going back to those. But I do understand that, not everybody likes watching the lives, because obviously I'm answering questions, there's chit chat going on as well. So that's why I just thought I'd do this brief overview. But what I would suggest is just have a play with it. There's so much that you can do with it. And then once let's just grab, one other thing I just want to show you quickly. Under frames, you'll see these frames that have this like green and blue elements to them. Let me just scroll down a bit more and you'll see some more frames in a minute. So you've got all these frames. So if I dragged on, let's just drag a heart on for now and drag it out to make it bigger. So this is basically like a placeholder. So a frame is something that you can drop something in and it will form the shape of whatever you've brought in. So let's just go back to my uploads and I'll bring on my notepads again and I'll drop them in, and now they've dropped into this shape. I'll bring the cards in. Can you see they've dropped into this placeholder shape? So this is great for if you want to card for somebody and put a family photograph in it. So you can use these elements. It also works with the letters and the numbers. I did show this in the live version. So again, if you bring on a letter, I'm just going to drag it out to make it bigger. And then again, if I come to the photos, and let's just say, let's go back to Easter, and we'll get the free bunny and drop that in. And when I click away, you'll see that the bunny the photograph of the bunny, instead of being a rectangular photograph, has dropped into the shape of this element that I put in here. So there's so much you can do. Once you've made your design, you then come to File, and you can click on the pencil and give it a name. And then you can click Save, and it will just save it within all your uploads. Or, as well as, you can come to Download. By default, it will want to save everything for you as a PNG. But if you just want to save your documents, when I made the teacup card, I saved that as a PNG. And then you just hit Download. It will prepare it. It will drop it into your Downloads folder. And then you can then use that however you want to use. It will always show you this message asking you, do you want to take up the free trial? I just close that down. And then on a Mac, it gives me, it brings up what I've just downloaded for me, but it is in my downloads folder. So it's here. I can drop it onto my desktop. And then you could put that on Facebook. You could put it on Instagram. You can put it on a blog post. You can do whatever you want with it. It's just a really good online platform that can be used for so much. But as I said, it's not just for using for graphics. It can be used with our ScanNCut. So if I come back to home and then come to my recent designs, here's the teacup card. So I click it and I can bring it on. If I want to use that teacup card again, but I don't want to use the time for tea, which that was a suggestion by one of the people on the YouTube live. I said, give me a sentiment to put on here. And I can't remember who it was, but they said time for tea. But if I decide I want to make this, let's have a chat sometime, or happy birthday, whatever it is, I can come back to this design. I can double click the words and I can just say, happy birthday. I can make it smaller so it all fits on. So I can move it. If I decide I want it down here in white, I can do that. If I decide I don't like the font, I can come over here and I can choose, a different font. Once your files are actually saved in here, in your designs, you can always come back and change something. So this is a header I made for my forum recently. I've added like a chit chat section on. and I just used a stock photo from within Canva, and I added Let's Chat in one of the fonts that's on here. This isn't a download program, this is an online program, so all the fonts that are in here are fonts that are within this program, not that it's pulling through. But I do believe, again, if you upgrade to the Pro version, I think you can upload fonts that you have on your computer. So if you've downloaded a font onto your computer, or you've bought a font from somewhere and it's not within the massive font list that's in Canva, you can upload that font and use it. If I decide I want to use this again and I like the background but I don't like Let's Chat, I can choose this, I can click on the words and I can change that, and then I can download it again and upload it to my forum. And look at this, it's a beautiful high quality photograph that I just put in this particular size for my forum. But this could be smaller, this could be bigger, and it would still keep all that beautiful definition. And this is just a stock photograph that I found in backgrounds. I just scrolled through and I found something, or you can search for something. If you want something with clouds, you just, in the background element, you type clouds and it will bring up all these clouds. If you want stars, it will bring anything up with stars, and it will show you the colours that it's using. If you say you want, a pink background, you can just have a plain pink background. If you don't want that, you can hit the undo. I've not even really scratched the surface, but I just wanted to give you a quick kind of clean version, if you like, of Canva. But please go back and watch the 2 recent YouTube live streams, because there's probably things I maybe showed in there that I haven't, shown in here. One other quick thing you can do, if you come up to the top of the page where it says File, you'll see here it says Show Rulers. And if you want an idea of how big your image is, then there's a ruler here. And then if you come to Show Guides, what you can do, if you ever want to position something, if you click over on the ruler and drag, you'll see a guide appears, and you can put guidelines in. And you don't have to use one, you could put more than one in, and it works for the same. You just click on the ruler, left click and drag, and you can put guidelines in, which is really, really great. I used to have this guideline feature in some other software that I used to use for one of my electronic cutters, and it's so very helpful. And if, once you've finished with them, just click on the guideline and drag it back up to its ruler, and it's gone. So there's all sorts of things you can do. Anyway, if you've got any questions or comments, or you'd like me to show you how to do something else, if you've thought of a way that you might want to use it that I've not even mentioned today, but you don't know how to do it, just leave me a comment underneath this video and I'll see if I can work out how to do it in the free version, and then I'll create, more videos for Canva. Anyway, I hope you found that helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up for me. Please subscribe if you don't already do so. I am trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of this year, 2021. I don't know if it will happen, but YouTube tell me that there's about 40-something% of the people that watch my videos that are not subscribed. It really doesn't cost you anything. You don't get mithered by anybody. I don't message you, I don't email you unless you message me and then I reply. YouTube doesn't contact you. Subscribing just lets YouTube know that you like this channel, and then it kind of lets YouTube know that if you like it, then more people, in your demographic or in the type of thing you search for may like it, and it helps to get my channel pushed out there for more people to find it. Because as we know, there are more and more people, especially in this last year while we've all been in worldwide lockdown, there are more and more people buying ScanNCuts, and sewing machines and embroidery machines are a bit like, as rare as hen's teeth at the moment. Everywhere you look, they're all out of stock. They are starting to come back in now, but certainly since before December, before Christmas, they've been, scarce to get hold of. So more and more people are taking up crafting, and it just helps my channel get found, and it helps people find solutions to their problems. So that's really all subscribing and, thumbs up do. Anyway, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.